Evening everyone, how are we doing? I have come to sit in a shady part of my garden because it is just so hot tonight, isn't it? I think it's still about 31 degrees or something crazy, and so I've come out here. There's a tiny bit of breeze in this shady part, and I wanted to talk to you about JOMO. So firstly, what is JOMO? So if you're watching live, that's great. Let me know that you're here, and thank you so much for joining me. And if you're watching on the playback as well, it's always lovely to know that you've stopped by, so thank you. Oh, excuse me. So JOMO, the opposite of FOMO. So FOMO is the fear of missing out. I always see it as the evil cousin of JOMO, the energy vampire. So for me, JOMO is the joy of missing out. And I want to talk to you a bit tonight about my experience with JOMO, what that means for me, what it could mean for you, and a few techniques for you to try as well. So, how many of us spend ages on our phones, on social media, when actually all we'd done was wanted to go on for a few minutes and then come back off, and then suddenly the afternoon is gone? Or you go onto one YouTube clip, and then of course it takes you to another and another and another. Or you say yes to meeting up with people or to going to events because you fear missing out. You fear missing out on conversations that might be held without you. And if you can hear noise, Marley's just decided to come and join me because it's too hot out indoors for him. So we fear that missing out on conversations, missing out on connections with people, and sometimes we can even take ourselves to that place of, well, what if they start talking about me when I'm not there and I want to know what's going on? So what's really important is that we learn to let go of FOMO and instead invite JOMO into our life as well. Think about the intentions that you set yourself or the boundaries that you have. So how many of us, like I said, spend too much time on our phones every day? How many of us spend time doing things that don't really energise us, that don't really fill us with joy or happiness or gratitude or real connection? And it can be really easy to get into those habits of spending time with those that actually no longer serve us, or we don't connect with anymore, or we have different values. And as I say, get involved in activities that don't really float our boat anymore, that don't energise us. So what I want you to think about is, when you pick up your phone, pick it up with intention. Don't just mindlessly surf, but pick it up, do the things that you want to do and let it go. Because again, we get sucked into that comparison of, well, they're doing that, I should be doing that, I should be getting involved in that, or I should be going to that. And then we end up just sort of being carried along by this wave of, but if I don't do it, I'm missing out. Especially for those of us that run businesses as well, it can be really easy to get sucked into that void of, well, that person's doing it, I probably should be as well. Should being, as you know, gremlin word for me. And so we end up doing things because there's that fear that if we don't do it, we won't be seen as credible or have as much expertise or as visible as others. And so we just keep on sort of down this rabbit hole of things that we should be doing. So pick up that phone and set those intentions with what you do. Think about notifications that you could turn off. How many of us are in different groups? Obviously you wouldn't dare think of turning the notifications off in the hub. No, I'm kidding. Make it what you need it to be. I don't have any notifications on my phone apart from the hub, obviously, and one other group. I choose when I want to go in and look at something. I choose what I want to look at, when I want to look at, and I'm not going to be dictated to by social media telling me what I should be. And that brought me massive fresh air and saved a lot of time, because previously you get notifications of all these different groups that you're in or these different people, and then you get sucked into that. And I was getting stressed because there were so many notifications in my Facebook feed. I was thinking, oh my god, I've got to clear all these. It's a bit like that that imagination that says you should never have a email in your inbox. You're never going to have no emails unless you delete them all. There is always, it's like the to-do list, there's always going to be something there. So you have to learn to decide what your boundaries are around that. So turn your settings, to change your settings so that you turn off those notifications with any social media thing that doesn't work for you, so that you become back in taking control again of your choices and what you want. Start saying no is my third tip for you tonight. The art of saying no is incredibly challenging, and I know for myself from experience, but learning to say no in service of yourself is so important for your worth, for your own self-love, for your own self-care, for your own health, that sometimes we have to say no to others in service of ourselves, and we will feel so much better for it. How many of us have said yes to somebody else when you already feel like you have this incredible weight on your back, but you don't want to feel like you're letting someone down, and you don't want to feel like someone won't like you anymore because you say no to something. So think about, when you say yes to that 19th thing to do that day for someone else, actually, are you denying yourself? Are you saying no to yourself by saying yes to others? And again, think about, what do you have in your life that actually no longer serves you, that fills you more with dread or negative energy rather than positivity and well-being? And that really sort of leads into, obviously, the main thing that I'm known around is valuing your worth. You are your most precious resource. And if you just keep on going all of the time, you will just burn out. And so that's why sometimes it is the joy of missing out, in the sense of it's the joy of choosing to say no to something to take care of you. So, saying no to things doesn't mean you're always going to say no to that activity or meeting up with that person, but it gives you the space that you might need to just recharge. We are so good at charging our phones up every single day because we feel that they're our most precious resource, to make sure that they work at optimum level, but we are not so good at doing that for ourselves. So actually thinking about what we value about us and what we need to do or what we need to be to take care of ourselves is really, really important. And I don't think enough of us make our worth our lifestyle. We're very good at making it our luxury, and saying that we'll do something at the weekend to take care of ourselves rather than think about even just spending a few minutes every day just to recharge. And that's really, really important. So stop the guilt gremlin that says, if you don't go on social media tonight, you might miss out on something, or people will think you don't want to be friends with them anymore, or you don't want to connect, or you don't want to be visible. And think about what it means to you. Think about who you are, what you value, and what you want to be known for, because that's really, really important. Stop letting that evil cousin of FOMO take over, and it is going to take a little bit of time for you to get used to that. Curiosity gets the better of us sometimes, and we do worry about what we will miss out on. But actually, if you think about it, it's again probably storytelling, and we're thinking about what we might miss out on doesn't actually mean that's what's going to happen as well. So I think that's just something I wanted to share tonight. It was something that I've been thinking about for the last day or so, and so I wanted to come on tonight and just share what was going on for me as well. I have said no to something today in honour of me, and I'm not worried about missing out. I see it as an investment in myself and my well-being and my time. And so very quickly doing this message, and then I'm going to do something for myself, which is very exciting. So yeah, let go of FOMO and invite JOMO into your life. So remember, unplug and disconnect. Put you back in control again. So put down your phone, turn off that TV, get outside with nature, example here, go for a mindful walk, read a book, do some yoga, listen to some music, but do something that makes your heart sing. Do something that makes you feel alive and makes you feel recharged and gives you back that zest. Now that may mean that mindful time or that time for you is only 5-10 minutes a day, but it could make all the difference to you. So go out there and JOMO it this week is what I'm saying. So thank you so much. I know there's a few of you that have joined me live, and I really truly appreciate that, so thank you very much. And thank you to those of you that are watching the playback as well. It'd be lovely to know that you've stopped by. And of course, as ever, if you've got any questions or any comments, then I would love to hear from you. It's always great to know whether or not my messages are resonating, and of course if anyone's got any other tips that would help with letting FOMO go and inviting more of JOMO, then I'd love to hear it. And do you know what? Tell me, what are you going to do to JOMO this week? I think that would be a really lovely way to build up this feed, is to say, actually, what are you going to do for you? And also a bit of support here, so that if you are saying no to something and you feel those gremlins start to show up, let us support you to get through it. So have a lovely evening, stay safe in the sun, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.